Today, I shot with the Ulanzi LubeCubes. I don't know what the hell they're called. They're the little light cubes. These are the, I guess they go from 2700K to 7000K. They're just little light cubes. They're inexpensive, they're cheap. But what I did is, the first thing I did is got rid of these rubber things. I mean, it's a nice little diffuser, and I think for close-up work or for macro work or whatever you're doing, they'd work fine. But I just used these straight with bare bulb, and I did a shoot with them. And then at the last minute, or somewhere during the shoot, I added in this little thing, which is the LubeCube LCD panel. Let me just, I'm trying here. Anyway, and the same thing with this one, I took off the diffuser because there's just, the diffusers are nice and they give a nice look and so forth, but they pull away too much light. And I mean, I just used this one bare and these bare and did a shoot. And there's no real reason for this. And I don't know if necessarily this is a educational whatsoever, but my big thing with these videos and sharing them with you is for you to try things, because if you don't try things, you'll just never get better. Practice, practice, practice. That's all I could say. And seeing where the light falls and having fun with something like this, it is a lot of fun. And then it's also frustrating because, like when I pull them into Lightroom and I look and, when I started, the first couple of shots were high ISO because I wanted to shoot at a higher shutter speed. Two reasons. I'm old and camera shake, with a 60 megapixel sensor. It's there, it's real, it happens. But then at the end, I took it down to 60th of a second, handheld. I just don't like tripods, otherwise it would have been fine with that. And not to mention my model moves, she never stops. So, so if you're gonna be shooting this or trying this, with these little kind of tiny lights and the little light panel, whatever, if you do have stabilization, it can help a little. But if your model's moving, it's not going to help at all. So, would it be a benefit to have stabilization on my camera? Yes, it would probably have saved a few shots. But since my model moves all the time anyway, remember, stabilization is not going to help her, because she's moving. It's, it's to stop the camera from shaking and, the old man stuff. Anyway. So I was able to, even with these lights, the three of them, when I added this third light in, I was able to take it down to 200 ISO at 60th of a second, and I believe I was at f2 with the lens. So, it's there, but again, camera shake, it's really hard not to have it. And when you have a model that moves as much as my model does, it's really hard to get a non-motion blur kind of shot. But anyway, I wanted you to enjoy the shoot, take a look in it, see if you have any questions, let me know. But I just picked these up off Amazon. I don't remember how much they were. They weren't that expensive, and they worked pretty good. I didn't even check the battery power. I used them for this whole shoot, and they're both at like 3/4 battery power. I hope I'm holding this right so you can actually see it. But I had them on full power, which it's not a lot. I mean, but it was fun. It was a great shoot. And it was just something to try. And anyway, enjoy the shoot. If you have any questions, leave them below. As always, thanks for watching. So here they are, those little Ulanzi LubeCubes. Like I said, they go from 2700 to 7000. They're nice little cubes. I mean, they're not very powerful, but I figured let's try these and have some fun. So, the first couple of shots, I had one on a stand and I just held the other one And yeah, I mean, it works. It works fine. But you know, if you want to get more creative, you're going to have two stands. And the soft focus domes that are on those, the little rubber domes, they do take a lot of the light power down. And I'm shooting probably at in between ISO 1600 to 2000 with this now. And I stayed there like because I wanted that, you know, higher shutter speed. And the majority of these shots, you know, they were crisp and clean because I was at that higher shutter speed. But I wanted to take these down to ISO 200. I would have preferred 64, but obviously I can't do that with the, unless I was on a tripod and had a perfectly still model. But she can't stop moving. Even when she's posing, she's still giving these little slight movements. And what I'm doing now is I'm just moving the lights around, you know. So like, you know, these are more behind her. You know, it's a little blown out, but it's still fun. And for this next outfit, I went to 200 and I added this little LubeCube panel. So I have the two lights in the back and then the LubeCube panel lighting up her face. And I tried some with the diffuser again, but then ended up taking it off because, you know, it just wasn't powerful enough. And I was still shooting at 60th of a second, ISO 200 at f2. But you know, the photos that did come out that I didn't have camera shake, you know, that I didn't act like an old man in, I loved. You know, I mean, they're just fun photos, and it's definitely worth playing around with and having fun with these things. So the only reason I'm switching these light stands is the one light stand goes a lot higher than the other one. I'm trying out that Moment light stand that they just put out. It's a great little light stand. It's still nothing compared to these that I normally have, the carbon fiber, but it's a nice little light stand. It just doesn't go as high and it's a lot heavier than the carbon fiber. You know, I know they played it up quite a bit to be this beautiful, gorgeous light stand, but it's, you know, it's not all that. I'll just say that. But it works, you know, don't get me wrong. But these stands that I use all the time, Photox, they still are available on Amazon, by the way. Someone said they weren't available anymore, but they are available. It's the Photox Padat 200. Anyway, you see how much farther up they go. And, you know, I wanted that down light because she wanted, you know, she wanted a little shadow to make herself look a little bigger, if you will. Now, these, I just threw these in the back. I used a dark background, and I'm using that atmosphere in a can just to give it a look. And again, just to have fun. This one, you can't really see it as much, but the next one, I blew it out a little bit more, moved the lights just a little bit closer, and you can see the fog just a little bit more with the lights coming through, which, you know, it gives a nice look. It does take a while to dissipate from the studio, though. The fog stays in there for quite a bit. You know, you're rushing and rushing to get that first blast with your camera, but then, you know, she'll go in and change and come back out, and it's still foggy. So, anyway, that's the shoot. I just wanted to show you what we did. You know, this is 3 little LED lights. I'm sure you can pick these little cubes up for $39, and the light panel's a little expensive, but there's cheaper ones of those too. And this was the last shot of the shoot. Enjoy.